Who's in your Star Wars top 4?
Your Star Wars Mount Rushmore, if you will.
Who, from that galaxy far, far away, would you cut into the side of that mountain to cement their place in history? Hello, and welcome back to Beyond the Dune Sea, a show all about that galaxy far, far away and beyond. My name's Seth.
My name's Connor.
You ever thought about who are the big four? Who are the pillars that hold up franchises? Maybe the Star Wars franchise?
Given it a little bit of thought.
Really?
Past couple days, in fact.
Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha. What about before then?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fun topic to discuss, like the Mount Rushmore. Whose faces would you carve into the side of a mountain to cement them in history?
Exactly.
Like, these are the goats
yes.
of this particular franchise.
Yes, and if you don't like that analogy, who are the four people holding up the franchise?
Yeah, who are the Atlases?
Yes,
holding
exactly.
up the world.
Yes,
right? All right,
exactly.
just for fun. I know you're going to be so mad at me about this because you hate being put on the spot. Marvel.
Oh my gosh.
From the heart.
Dude, it's so crazy. I mean, it's the big three. It's Iron Man, Thor, Cap, and then you'd probably throw on Hulk.
It's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Or that's
Hulk.
like the Avengers, right?
I mean, they kind of...
DC.
I mean, it's the Trinity. It's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. I guess I throw on Green Lantern because I like him.
Yeah. I don't have any disagreement. Probably that and the Joker.
Yeah.
Is probably who I would do.
Yeah.
But for Star Wars, today we have something fun we're going to talk about where we have this split into 3 categories. And as you can see, both of us have our own Mount Rushmores because we're going to maybe have different opinions. Maybe we won't. This will be really interesting because we have not shared.
We have not talked at all.
First up, we're going to do the creators. Who are the pillars of the Star Wars creator community? I think we all know who's going to be sitting right here.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Whose face needs to be carved onto the side of the Coruscanti mountain, that's sitting in the middle of the
little mountain peak that's there on the side of Coruscant.
Whose face needs to be carved in there and be cemented in history? And then characters, but like general. Right? Like, who are those characters that everybody knows? Who are those characters that, mean a lot to the franchise?
Yeah. And then, cement the franchise, made it what it is.
Exactly. And then we'll round it off with our personal Mount Rushmore of Star Wars.
Why do we come to Star Wars?
Who is carved onto the Mount Rushmore of our hearts?
Yes.
Right? So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be riffing. We're going to be jamming. And first off, I think we start out with these creators.
Yes.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme. Every stanza kind of rhymes with the last one. Hopefully it'll work.
You want to start us off?
Sure. Okay. Well, I mean, I think that we have to start where all stories start, and that's at the beginning. And so I think that we have to put the creator himself, put George where George is. I mean, he's the guy that put it together. He's the guy that without him, we wouldn't have any of it. Because of Star Wars, we got Pixar, we got ILM, we got THX. I mean, the guy's contributions to the movie industry as a whole, I just feel like the man doesn't get enough credit.
No,
I'll be honest, just because he made some silly movies with Jar Jar in them.
We didn't use the same picture after all.
We did not. Look at that. Look at that. I picked a silver fox.
Yeah.
George.
See, I was thinking compositionally as George Washington looks this way.
I get you. Yes.
I was really thinking ahead.
Wow, look at you.
No, he definitely doesn't get enough credit. And I think it will be fascinating for history to look back on this person. And I love Star Wars for a lot of reasons, but for the art and the artist, I find George extremely fascinating. He's not just on Mount Rushmore of Star Wars creators. He's on like the Mount Rushmore of filmmaking. Like his contributions to cinema, his contributions to technology cannot be understated. I mean, we look back on history and famous artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo and stuff. And I know some people might cringe at the fact that I'm even using his name in the same sentence, but really, I mean, our artists today, we're living through history. We don't have the historical lens to see the history that we're living in, I guess is maybe how I would say it.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how generations in the future will look back on like, who were the great artists of the 20th century, the turn of the century artists? Who was the Renaissance man? You'd be hard pressed not to mention this guy when it comes to the art of filmmaking. You've had the art of marbles carving. You've had the art of like paintings, and you have the art of music.
It's moving pictures.
Exactly.
Yes.
Famous photographers, all of these famous artists who have, been cemented in Mount Rushmores of history, you know, the galleries of art that will exist for all of mankind. And I think that George will be a character remembered for generations to come.
So for the rest of these, I feel like we like to use the analogy of the secret sauce. Okay. George is the chef. I think everybody else on the list are different types of ingredients.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he had the idea, right? He had, like you just said, he had the idea. Yeah. He had the will to execute it, but he of course didn't do it alone.
No, he had help.
So why don't you hit me with the next one?
Okay.
The next creator that helped define Star Wars.
The next one's very near and dear to my heart. I mean, it's Snow. I talk about him often. It's John Williams. He kind of wrote the music to a lot of our childhoods.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go down the line. I kind of wrote some of them down. What's your favorite? Star Wars, Harry Potter, Jaws, Jurassic Park, Superman, Home Alone, The Raiders March. I mean, gosh, you just saw the new Superman movie. They used his theme because it's that good. Yeah. It's kind of crazy that you can't do better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, man, I think he's the one that when new Star Wars is created, he's the one that it's hardest for him not to be a part of, if that makes sense. Yeah. I think that he is so in the DNA of Star Wars.
No, that's absolutely true.
Yes. That, I mean, if this is my chef, this is the secret sauce. I think there is emotionality. I just think that he really knows how to strike a viewer, if that makes sense. Strike a listener, if you will.
You're absolutely right. And I 100% agree. And hey, we did have the same one on this.
Look at that. It's a nice picture.
John Williams is everything I just said about George applies to John Williams. He is our generation's Mozart, Bach. You know, I think you have, and it's interesting because the medium of filmmaking has kind of conglomerated all of these artists together. And I think video games, as time go on, will continue to do the same thing. I think that's going to be the evolution that we see from moving pictures being or moving pictures that you can experience is the next step. And video games already are art as they continue going on. Like we just chatted before the show, like Expedition 33, I've been playing through that game. And like that game is art.
Yeah.
You know, you have acting, you have a composition when it comes to the music is incredible. You have visual composition and the set designs and the artistry and the 3D work and the animation and the block. It's incredible. These two right away, you know, you have this man who's a visionary. Like I said, the will to execute is George's, I think, superpower.
Yeah.
He wanted to make something in his head that nobody could figure out how to do. So he was like, you know what? I'll invent entirely new technologies to do it. And John Williams, he's more of that classical sauce though.
Yeah.
He's what makes Star Wars timeless. He's what adds that, like, just like what I can't put it any better. The secret sauce that gives Star Wars its identity. I think you're absolutely right that new Star Wars misses John the most.
It's the hardest, really. Like, I guess that that's the toughest pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah. With all the creators.
Well, because visuals can be derivative, I think. And I think a lot of things can derive from George's original vision visually. You can do a lot of things with performance. You can do a lot of things with dialogue that kind of are different flavors, different strokes. Music does something, you know, here. You know, it makes connections.
Emotionality.
Have you ever heard that thing where if you're going on a road trip that you want to remember, you put together a playlist that you don't normally listen to. And so that way, whenever you listen to that playlist, you have vivid memories of road trip.
I've never heard that. Do you do that?
We did do that when we went to Yellowstone a few years ago. And to this day, if I hear any of those songs, because we have not used that playlist since, but some of those songs have trickled into other playlists that will come on. Like at the time, my wife was really into this song called Coastlines by the Hollow Coves. I think if I'm remembering the band correctly. Great song. But every time I hear that song, I just flash back, like Yellowstone, our camping trips, all that stuff, right? Same thing with Star Wars. You hear those themes and you're back, you know, and when that's not there, not that the other artists haven't done a great job either, but you're right. It's like, John's, it's hard to replicate.
You're listening to it and it's like the brass and the strings and the percussion, it goes away. Like it's all just, it's feelings, it's emotions. That's right. You're in the carbon freezing chamber and you're listening to them battle against each other. Now that I say that, there isn't actually much music in that scene. Let's use a new one that like when Rey catches that lightsaber.
That's good.
Yeah. You're not hearing strings. You're hearing hope. you're hearing like the fascination. Like I just remember being like, it takes you right back to that moment in the theater where it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. It's cool.
I'm not a very musically gifted person, so I don't have the vocabulary to describe, but that's a great way to put it. It's like he puts all of the feelings into the notes, and like, so you really, it reminds me of Hans Zimmer, who I think also on just composers.
Oh yeah. He's up there. Oh yeah. He's up there.
And he talked about how he composed the score for The Lion King and how he didn't want to do that movie because as a cartoon, he didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But he was excited because his kids would be able to watch a movie that he composed. So he agreed to do it. And when he composed the theme, when Simba sees Mufasa in the clouds, like he said that was him coming to terms with his own father's death that he never really, he'd never done. And so it was all just pouring out of him. And it's like, you could hear that when you listen to that track, you could hear like, there's just a soul to it that is so hard. It's so metaphysical and so abstract. Like you can't really grab onto it, but like you definitely feel that when you watch that scene in The Lion King, and you feel that with, man, Luke looking out at the binary
I was about to say, what
that,
about just like staring at the binary sunset where it's just like that hope and that like wanting to go find more in the world and being ready to get out on your own. Yeah.
It's amazing the music can do that. Because there's great experiments, like when you're editing, like putting different music to different tracks. And like another one that went a little viral a few years ago, it was the trailer for the Half-Blood Prince. But it had music that made it feel like a rom-com. And then there was another one that made it feel like a horror movie. Yeah. How music can do that. How it can just recontextualize is amazing. So absolutely. John Williams deserves second fiddle only to George.
It's true. And again, it's interesting that like John Williams wasn't just a one-note guy, if you will, that it's like I named all those franchises. It's crazy how much he has touched filmmaking and about how, again, people are still using his tracks.
And it's just too good.
Yeah, he's just too good. You can't, it's hard to touch the goat. Last thing I do want to say about him, and I bring it up all the time, I hope that we can hear all of what he did for Tross at some point, because it drives me nuts that he like recorded 3 hours of music for that movie. And
it's the most underutilized.
It is. They had to change the rules for the Oscar so he could get a nod.
Yeah.
Yes. It's ridiculous. Because they use so much reused, like older stuff that he had used in previous movies.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Next up. I'm really curious because we could start to deviate because there's no way these weren't going to be on both of our lists.
Yeah, it's true. But my next one is none other than, don't fall.
He looks oddly like Werner Herzog.
He does.
You ever notice that?
Yes. Now, yeah. So guys, this is Ralph McQuarrie. And if you don't know who he is, he was the concept artist on the original trilogy. Oh no. And now he's falling. Well,
it's okay. He could be a little, the sculptor's got a little lazy.
There we go. Okay. I guess he's just sitting like that. Sorry, Ralph, that he was the original concept artist. And I didn't realize that it was because of his concept art. That was what made Fox agree to making the movie. Yeah.
Pitched it. Yeah.
George pitched it with his artwork. And let's sit and think about this, guys. So Star Wars was nothing but words on page. And this guy, creature design, character design, vehicle design, weapon design. I mean, there was nothing and he made something, and it is fascinating how much of it actually stayed the same.
Yeah.
It's wild. And then too, if you look at A New Hopes, then start looking at Empire and Jedi, where like, they look so much more like Star Wars because now there's at least a groundwork. And then he's now like, it's like, oh my gosh, that's just identical to how it was in the movie, that there is no differences now, that they just went off of just letting him do his thing.
And we are still using his concept, or Star Wars is still using his concept to this day.
I was going to say, my goodness, go back and look at Rebels.
Yeah, it's like all
just his stuff. And I was going to say Force Awakens, which I mean, to its detriment though, too, like using a lot of unused concepts.
TK Troopers from Bad Batch.
Yes.
Using his original design for that.
Boba Fett, even where's the young Boba Fett uses unused helmets. Yeah. It's crazy, man.
I got the same homie.
Wow. Look at us.
The same picture.
Look at us.
Because George had the idea. Mm-hmm. He made it real.
Yeah.
He added the emotion.
Yeah.
And like these three together are like it really, I almost in a way wish that we had just had 3.
Yeah.
Because I think anyone after this, don't get me wrong, there are tons of people that contribute and have contributed a lot to Star Wars and deserve recognition. I'm not taking that away.
Yeah.
But like, this is the triad.
This is the Trinity. This is the big 3.
Star Wars is the reason why it is a multi-generational franchise. Like one of the original film franchises, that has blown up.
I mean, it's the original blockbuster.
Yeah. Well, Jaws, arguably, but
not in the same way.
No,
but yes,
not in the same way. But Star Wars has such like an identity. And it's so interesting today because Star Wars operates kind of like comic book movie franchises do. Comic books have such a storied history that took 100 years of history basically to develop what they have today. Like this all started from these 3 cooking stuff up in 77.
Yeah.
Almost everything from Star Wars comes from that. It's crazy. Like you just said, Rebels is almost all of that original artwork for A New Hope. Yeah. Like that's where you get Zeb, original Chewbacca. That's where you get Chopper, original R2.
Yeah.
It's where you get
look at even how the lightsaber blades are.
Very thin.
Yes.
Right. I think Kanan even resembles like that original art for Luke, Star Killer at the time.
Yeah.
Even Vader's look.
Yep.
Resembles more of McQuarrie's design.
Yeah, that sharper face.
Bad Batch taking different designs. Like it's amazing, like how, like what you just said, words on a page. He's like, let's make it real.
Yeah.
And not only is that an amazing task, but all of that was so iconic that you just see any of that artwork and that's Star Wars.
Yeah, I know who that's supposed to be.
That's Star Wars. Incredible.
It is. It's absolutely incredible.
I do honorable mention for this one, Doug Chiang.
Yeah, to pick up where the man left off. I understand. Yeah,
I think he does a lot where it's like it's continuing on what McQuarrie does, but at the same time, he's also building his own concepts.
Yeah, making it his own.
Yeah, which is great.
Now I'm curious who number 4 is.
I am also curious. Do you want me to go or are you going?
I can go if you'd like.
Go.
Yeah. Well, my number 4, we've actually met him.
Yeah. I almost put him as mine. This is not mine.
Why I picked him was because let's rewind the clock back to when he was handed the franchise. So they'd only been movies up until then. And now it's his job to keep building out the universe and to continue the story and even do it in a different medium. And that's none other than Timothy Zahn. He had kind of an impossible task. I mean, not to be mean. Movies are kind of for everybody. Not everybody's thing is reading. So he had to make a story that's interesting enough that Star Wars fans are going to want to read it. And then 2, not only did he do that, he invented characters and concepts that are being brought back to Star Wars even today. And so I feel like he belongs up here just in the echelon where it's like these guys, they did their thing. Then he picked up the baton and kind of kept it going.
He's the granddaddy of legends.
He is basically the granddaddy of legends. And so I feel like that's why he belongs up here. So
he's not mine, but I do, I almost, it was close. And like Zahn deserves so much credit for what he added. I mean, his trilogy is considered by many to be the definitive sequel trilogy for those characters. And having read them recently, you know, not to disparage the sequels, though you guys know how I feel about them. It's just he took truly like a sequel to, I feel like, Return of the Jedi. It's like, what would that look like? Whereas the sequel trilogy is more like, this is 30 years in the future. We're pulling some things from the movies, but really it's its own story, or it's not its own story.
All he had to work with was the original Star Wars trilogy. Yeah. And so I think it's interesting what he was allowed to mess with and what he wasn't allowed to mess with. Yeah.
And, well, I think he did a great thing of taking all of the characters where they end in Return of the Jedi as his starting point. He does a great job of like showing, okay, Luke's a Jedi. What does that mean? Yeah. And Luke goes through really interesting character arcs in that. Leia, you know, she now has to reckon that she's with the fact that she's the daughter of Darth Vader and politically what's going on with the New Republic. Han, you don't get a ton to do, but
Han's just Han. Always Han.
Then you get new stuff like Jorah's Sabaoth and like cloning, a lot of cloning that's, you know, being trickled in. Mount Tantus. You get Coruscant, which is brought into George's prequels.
Mara Jade. Admiral Thrawn.
And of course, and then there's Thrawn.
I was going to say, I mean, some of the most beloved Legends characters and now even brought into new canon. Yeah. I just have a feeling. I feel like Mara Jade's.
Yeah, I got to.
Yes, I feel like that she's got to be coming.
Another credit to him is how Thrawn is not Palpatine. You know,
he is different.
No
He's
offense
not
to
Vader.
Dark Empire, but it's like that's the easy way. Like not to use the meme, but somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah.
You know, in that Legends time period, because they came out pretty close to the same
Yeah.
time. Whereas Zahn was like, what if we make a new, like someone new? Who would be most interesting for this new government to reckon with?
Mm-hmm.
What about this admiral that's extremely tactical, you know, that's out in the Outer Rim regaining forces? That's so much more interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's a threat that's different for you, the viewer, but also is the most threatening to our heroes and to this new budding republic.
Very different.
For me, I really thought about this one.
Okay.
And I think that he deserves a spot. You can see the silhouette.
I can.
Our man with the cowboy hat, the apprentice.
Big Dave Filoni.
We're going through this period right now because, you know, the fans got to hate on somebody. They got to put a target on somebody's back.
It's
and
true.
Right now, the
Star Wars fans can't be happy.
It was George. It was, you know, it was Kathleen Kennedy. Now it's Filoni. And I just don't buy into that. Is he perfect? No. Is George perfect? No. But I think what I respect the most about Filoni, especially as time has gone on, his legacy is kind of still to be told by this point. George has the benefit of being done and we can kind of analyze his work as a whole. But where Filoni, I really respect what he's done is that I feel like he's carrying the torch from George, but he is definitely putting his own creative spin. He's like, okay, I'm captain of the ship now. What are the things that speak to me? Not just what spoke to George. That's important. But if you're going to be an artist, you have to do what's in here. You have to, or like, and that's what I want from you, even if I don't always agree with your choices. And his passion shows on screen. I think it shows with the character of Ahsoka. Everybody knows that's like, you know, that's his girl.
Yeah.
And I think you see that with what he's doing with her, what he did with Rebels, you know, very heartfelt, especially toward the end, putting like wolves and things like the things that he likes, you know, calling back to samurai movies and cowboy movies. You know, he has a career, you know, in animation with Avatar: The Last Airbender. You see some of that stuff in there.
Yes.
You see a lot more. Clearly he's more into fantasy.
Yep.
And like you see those fantasy elements come in, but post Disney, I think his mark has felt the most on Star Wars. And so I think he deserves a spot up here, and we'll see what his legacy ends up being by the time it's all said and done. But right now I think he's on a good path. I think that a little bit of a rocky start maybe with Rebels, but I feel like he started to really find his footing, especially with the help of someone like Jon Favreau. And I'm really excited to see what this new era of the Star Wars universe looks like.
Yes. Curious to see, is Star Wars future truly on the big screen, or will it stay on the small screen?
So it's yet to be seen, but he's definitely made his mark.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad for a first round.
Yes.
Huh? A lot of I figured this one would be the most the
this
same.
is why we did it first, because this is the gimmies.
Yeah, these ones are easy. But how about those characters?
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
You can go first this time.
All right. So for Star Wars characters, this is general.
Yeah.
Right? So like, who's the pillars?
Yeah. Who's holding up the fort
in the world? You know. And so the way that I approached this was, if I went up to a random person on the street who'd never seen Star Wars and flashed them a picture, they'd be like, "That's Star Wars."
Yeah.
That's Star Wars.
Yeah.
100%.
I had a little bit of that. You'll understand when I flip mine. Yeah.
The first one is going to be to the surprise of no one. And I'll be extremely surprised if he's not on your list.
Yeah.
It's Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
I mean, he is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Darth Vader is from not only a storytelling perspective, but from a marketing perspective, because Star Wars now is a business, you know, and fortunately and unfortunately, that is the fate of all successful artistic franchises, is that it becomes a business. And so you have to have marketable characters, and who's more marketable than this face right here? I mean, look around.
Yep.
We went into depth about this in Revenge of the Sith, but
everything was that.
You show this to anybody, every person knows who that is.
Most recognizable villain in Western fiction.
I'd argue one of the most, if not the most recognizable character in film history. No one cuts a silhouette like Darth Vader. No one has a presence like Darth Vader.
You even just said it. I mean, he's here. He's here. He's
there.
there. He's
like,
he's everywhere.
Yeah. There's not really much else to say. I mean, he is the central pillar. If I could only pick one, it would be Darth Vader, 100%. Yeah. But
it's true.
I cheated a tad with him.
Oh.
Because I tried to, as you'll see as I go, I'm also trying representing eras too.
Oh, see, and that's Vader, why I did it.
Vader
that's kind of how I did it.
Represents, I think, both.
Okay.
Like this is Lucas era. Darth Vader is Lucas era. Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker.
Okay. My list is more era. So we're just going to go down the line of those eras. And who better to start with than Luke Skywalker? And
right.
I picked that one on purpose, that picture of him.
Okay.
Because that's him, Farm Boy Luke, right after Owen and Beru. I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father. I think Lucas was very clever when he wrote Luke, because Luke's kind of plain in the first film. I think it's because you can easily imprint yourself on Luke. You can see yourself in Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Luke gets more and more interesting as the movies go on, that he learns his place. And in those first films, he thinks he's training to become a great warrior and defeat evil that way. But in the end, he defeats evil with love, and he doesn't have to fight.
Yeah.
That's a generational lesson. Yeah. If that makes sense.
It is quintessential Star Wars.
It is.
Yeah.
It is that there are alternatives to fighting.
You look at all contemporary storytelling around that time, and it's like no one did that.
Mm-mm.
It was always slay the dragon, win the girl, all that stuff, and Luke doesn't do that. Finds out the girl is his sister. Yeah. And then throws down the sword and doesn't beat the dragon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why that story is timeless and why it will live on for generations.
Yeah.
No arguments there. Luke. Okay, my next one. So, I said I cheated here. I definitely cheated here.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to put it on then talk about it.
Gotcha. Oh,
it's both.
Oh, I was thinking that I could only see the silhouette, and I'm like, oh gosh, I just lost his name. Who's the blue, or who's got the role? Who's Q-tip guy?
Q-tip guy.
Yeah, Jedi Master. Who?
Yariel Poof.
Yariel Poof. There we go. I was thinking, I'm like, there's no way that Yariel Poof is on your.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway.
C-3PO and R2-D2. I think these guys are also quintessential Star Wars, because Star Wars it's the creatures, it's the costumes, it's the aliens, right? And I think that these two, the silhouette they cut together in particular, but they're everywhere. Like they literally are the only characters that appear in all 9 movies.
Yep.
You see them make cameos in other stories. They pop up everywhere, and it's always awesome when you see them. They're just they transcend even Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
I love that Anthony Daniels is so attached to the character that he plays him in everything. Radio dramas, the animations, and it makes these characters feel almost like they're in our world. Like, everybody says, oh, Star Wars just told from R2-D2's perspective.
Those original 6, possibly.
And maybe that's the case. They scream Star Wars. And these aren't on my personal list, but I almost put them on my personal list because of that reason. Yeah. Like when I think Star Wars, what pops in my head? These two. Yeah. And how they look, how they sound.
Look at how iconic they look.
Exactly.
They were the first two, I think, that Ralph drew.
Yeah.
If I remember right. Is
based on that old, Metropolis style.
Yes. That image of them walking in the desert.
Yes. And these are the characters that they can appear in every Star Wars project ever, and I won't care. Yeah. Because I love these two. They feel so in place wherever they're at, and they instantly make a scene feel Star Wars. Like you could shoot a Star Wars scene in my bedroom, and I'd be like, this makes no sense. But these two show up. It's like, Mom, we're in a galaxy far, far away. What do we mean? What are you doing here? Yeah. I've always loved these two. I hope they keep showing up.
I hope they do too. So I have to cheat for mine because.
And we both cheated. Good.
Well, no, I'm just cheating because I wanted to use prequel him, but I couldn't because of printing errors. So we're going with Darth Vader. It should be Anakin, but yeah, we're going with Darth Vader because of printing errors. I'm going through the eras. So we had OT, now we're in the prequels.
Interesting.
And so why I picked Anakin, because I mean, let's be honest, we talked about it a lot with Revenge of the Sith. I mean, that was the reason why you went. Everyone wanted to see the beginning. And now we've got the full circle that like we saw a hero rise. Now I think it's really interesting. You see a hero fall. It's all a circle that you can then watch these movies and see how it all kind of ends. Yeah. But just all the reasons that you said, I mean, he is the most recognizable villain and the most recognizable Star Wars thing. I mean, even down to the sounds he makes. Yeah. Yeah. The look, the silhouette, the way he speaks. that voice. I mean, my goodness. I mean,
we could make a Mount Rushmore of Darth Vader.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
James, you got Anakin, or you're Hayden, you've got David Prowse.
You know, that prequel era. I just think that is such an interesting concept that George had his main character fall, and you knew where it was going, and you're like, man, maybe it might turn out differently, but no, it's a movie. It doesn't turn out differently.
Yeah.
Just riffing off you.
It's interesting how art does that, isn't it? Where like you watch it and you know.
Dude, Boromir, every time.
Isn't that amazing that it can do that to your mind though? Where you're like, you think that there's a possibility.
There is.
You know?
It's how the music swells.
There's many movies where that happens with me. And Revenge of the Sith is one of them. Where
where he's sitting up in the council room and you're like, maybe he'll stay.
And maybe he'll make the different choice.
Yeah, maybe he'll go see Padme.
I wonder what that is. That's something. I don't know. It's just how our brains work. It's so fascinating.
I think it's John Williams. I think it is the music. Oh, yeah. I think it's the music.
I just mean conceptually, like just from a psychological point of view.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen. You've seen the movie.
Yeah.
But why is it that sometimes you think it might turn out differently?
And why do you hope?
Yeah.
We're just that nerdy.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
My next one, this is where my list, this was the hardest one for me. The hardest placement. And this is where my list gets a little controversial maybe.
Okay.
I'll put them up and talk about it.
Yeah.
I got Ben Swallow.
Ben Swallow.
Kylo Ren.
Okay.
You're walking up to someone on the street. You're showing them like, you're giving them the lineup. Yeah. The mugshot lineup. Like, okay, which one's from Star Wars?
Yeah, which one's Star Wars?
This guy was everywhere in the marketing for the sequels.
He was.
I mean, even when he wasn't wearing the mask, that was all the Last Jedi promos. It was him with like the reverse grip, I think. That's that picture. Maybe that was Tross. Anyway, he wouldn't even wearing the helmet for most of that image, you know? So specifically this is Rise of Skywalker. I more picture him with the hood, that image that was everywhere in 2015. The one where he's like superhero posing and he has the saber out like this.
Or just standing there being flanked by two stormtroopers. Yeah.
Yes. Everywhere. And I think that has cemented itself in a lot of people's mind as like, this is Star Wars. I would wager a guess if we have younger viewers out there who grew up during this time period, like this character probably is that's Star Wars, man. So regardless how you feel about him or the movies, it's like these were everywhere. I almost picked Rey. Yeah. But the reason, like you'll see even with my last pick, these are very marketable characters. Yeah. Because for the story, like, because we didn't do story specifically, and it looks like you went more of that route. Yeah. Luke would definitely have been on mine. Yeah. You know me, I always got to throw a wrench and stuff and be different. So
well, we don't, part of when we make these, we're vague on purpose to each other because we want our lists to be original. And so that does come, there you go. There's a little behind the dune sea for you. Yeah. So
it's cool that you went more the story route, and it looks like my list is going to be more of that, like,
who's iconic.
Just the look, the feel, like what makes you feel Star Wars, which is different for each individual, but I like broadly. Yeah. Like you show it to a fan and a non-fan, what feels Star Warsy. And so far these three, that's what strikes those chords.
You just mentioned her. I put Rey.
Okay, so you did Rey. Yeah.
I did do Rey because, there was a passing of the torch from the Skywalker boys to A New Hope, if you will. And, I don't think that it's her fault how convoluted those movies can be. But
she's extremely charming.
Yes, she is. And you can't argue how excited you were in 2014 for all of this to come back. I mean, she is partially responsible for making everybody excited for all this again. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's why she earns a spot on Mount Rushmore.
It's hard not to love her too.
Huh?
I think
it's true.
It's so... Tross is frustrating the most for me because of what it does for Rey as a character. Yeah. She is so charming in those first two. She's charming in the last one. It's just that the Palpatine stuff really convolutes things. Yeah. She's really easy to like.
Even when she's not talking, when she's chewing on space bread.
John Williams helps too.
Yes, John Williams does help. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know that the Rey movie is constantly being canceled and not canceled, but I do hope we see it one day. I'd love to see where that character can go. There's a lot of potential there. Yeah. And what she can do. But I
wouldn't mind seeing a movie that, that was completely planned rather than, than something that, was constantly in flux. But I want to hit home just that, we're going through the eras. She is partially responsible for, even you were kind of in a Star Wars lull
Yeah,
right? And
then Force Awakens brought me back.
Exactly. I think it brought a lot of people back. It's like, we're back, baby. I mean, I remember going and seeing that in the theater, and then it was like, what do we do tomorrow? We come back and we watch it again.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. You got your 3 main pillars of each trilogy. That makes total sense. Yeah. My last one, which just because I could see your silhouette over there, I imagine it's going to be similar because there's really 4 eras of Star Wars. Prequels, sequels, and now the Disney Plus era.
Well, television.
Who better than our friend Din Djarin? I mean, this guy is another one. You show it to a fan or a non-fan, they're like, that's Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's that Mandalorian guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know exactly who this is. And he is the face of current Star Wars right now. No doubt about it. I mean, he's got a movie coming out next year.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the show. I mean, season 3, but everybody loves Star Wars. Fans are never more united than during season 2 of The Mandalorian.
It's true.
A lot of credit and he's a great character.
Yeah.
Somebody in our Discord, shout out to the Discord, brought up that he's like a mirror to what fans thought Boba Fett was. Because we've always described it as like, this is basically that idea of Boba Fett from the original trilogy. Yeah. Mando is that now.
Yeah.
But so I mentioned that in our Discord, and forgive me, I don't know who said it, but somebody said he's like the good version of that. I'm like, yeah, I think I kind of buy that.
Boba had like a weird honor code in like the books, though. We're like, he had his rivalry with Han Solo, but like he would do stuff. He wasn't just like outright bad, though. Yeah. So that I never really considered Boba Fett like a bad guy. Okay. Like, because Din's kind of a bad dude. I mean, he's
a bounty hunter.
He did murder that guy. He shot the light at the beginning of season 2 and just let that guy get eaten and stuff like that. Like, I mean, he's still.
Just some questionable things.
Definitely, yeah. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll piggyback off you. Let's put the real face of the franchise.
I almost did this.
Yep, and I hate it, but at the same time, this little dude's everywhere. I worked at Think Geek at the time this was happening, and oh my gosh, we had people coming in. Yeah. I want the Baby Yoda shirt, and it's like, we don't have one. They didn't let us know that this was going to happen, and I remember Hot Topic had one first. They had one before us. Yeah. And those were gone in a heartbeat.
Dude, that conversation was so interesting because Jon Favreau had no idea that he was going to be as popular. So they did not plan any merch.
Yep.
None at the time. It was like, what, 6 months? No, not 6 months. It was several months before any merch came out.
Yep. Any real merch that, again, he was on that shirt, which I don't even know how they did it because it was just like, it almost looked like concept art of him. He was just sitting there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember it taking a long time because I was a bigger into Black Series at the time, and it took a long time to get that little thing of him.
Yep.
And I remember hearing during one of their live streams, they're like, yeah, we had no idea. They typically give concept art, to a lot of the companies making figures, making t-shirts, making prints. Nothing was sent out about Grogu, not only for the secrecy, but because they did not know that he was going to be popular.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, now that they know that, they make dumb choices.
And then we got a whole movie about him now. Harkening back to your list, where it's like, you show that to anybody. That's Baby Yoda. That's Star Wars.
Yep.
When we were at PopCon this year, the one lady who came up and she was just like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but it looks like fun. And we're like, we're ranking Star Wars characters. And then she was like, wait, I know him. That was the one, the one Star Wars character.
Yes.
Other than that, she didn't have a clue who anybody was.
Yeah. My sister even, she's not that into Star Wars. And she was like texting me every week when Mandalorian was coming out. Like, oh, we got to find out what happens with Baby Yoda. And so I would just send her, I'd find these awful edits of like the ugliest Baby Yoda pictures.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, stop it. And I'd be like, hey, leaked picture for the next episode. You're like, no, why'd they do that?
Yeah.
I almost think that you could just, based on how our lists are structured, you could swap. Put Mando on yours and put Grogu on mine.
Definitely. Again, I wanted to put Mando, but I'm like, the franchise, man.
Yeah.
The franchise. I mean, Yoda was on my list for a little while just because he transcends Star Wars, I feel like, do or do not.
Yeah.
Yeah. People.
Yoda was almost in this slot.
Yeah. And my wife just kept saying, where's Chewbacca? People know Chewbacca. Yeah. Everybody does that Wookiee sound. I was like, I know, but I mean, like, beyond the drunk frat guy doing his Chewbacca impression,
right?
Do people really know who Chewbacca is? Yeah. So
no, I think that these two are interchangeable for that concept. I just think like when you go on Disney Plus, he's the guy that's standing in for Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. But it could have just as easily been Grogu. There you go. So these are very different. We only have one that is the same.
Yeah.
I like how we took different approaches to this one. I could do a million different versions of this, I think, where I'm taking different, like if I took your approach, I'd probably have a slightly different list.
Interesting pillars.
before we get to
Sure.
our personal ones,
Okay.
let me throw a softball at you because I love to do that.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite thing.
Yeah. To put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get to our personal characters.
I need a cigarette.
Don't smoke, kid. Come on.
Yeah.
Dare. Don't you remember Dare?
Dude, I live by DARE.
Good.
Drug abuse resistance education. Oh, yeah.
Let's imagine. We just mentioned that. What's that mountain in Coruscant even called? Do you remember?
Not a clue. They're eating popsicles near it.
So they got the little mountain
peak.
on Coruscant. It's the only piece of land, untouched on Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
Who would they actually carve in universe onto these mountains?
Like all 4?
I have an answer for you.
Oh, okay.
First, it's the time of the Empire.
Yeah.
It's Coruscant. Everybody loves the Empire on Coruscant.
Yeah,
probably,
yeah.
maybe. Who they carve it into Mount Rushmore on Coruscant?
Oh, I know.
I mean, Sheev's got to be number one.
It's true.
Right? Because he's the man. He made the glorious empire.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got to have Sheev.
Yeah.
And then who's Sheev without his right hand man?
It's true.
Yeah, you got to have Darth Vader in there. And then this is the oddball, kind of like Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt's great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The guy that's getting work done.
Yeah.
Wolf Yularen. That mustache adds a little something to it.
Okay.
Like you got to have him on there.
Yeah.
And then like the guy who talk about getting stuff done.
Tarkin. I thought that in Teddy Roosevelt's spot would be Tarkin.
Well, he's more the Abraham Lincoln. That's terrible. No, this is the propagandized.
Yeah.
This is glory to the Empire. That's what's going on.
That's on it. Okay.
That's terrible. But then the galaxy gets their act together.
Yeah.
And the New Republic comes along and realizes these guys suck.
Yeah, they got to tear it all down.
They got but now you got a blank mountain. What do you got to do?
It's
now
true.
we got to put some real people on there.
Yeah.
So who's the real,
some real heroes.
the real George Washington, if you will,
Yeah.
of the New Republic era? Who do you think?
Probably Leia Organa.
The George Washington?
Fine. Luke Skywalker.
No, he's not part of the government. He's more like, a general.
Okay.
It's Mon Mothma.
Mon Mothma. Oh, you're using mine. Okay.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
Mon Mothma.
Okay.
She's got. I don't think Mon would want her face carved.
Yeah.
But this is just some artist out there. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
We gotta pay homage. But
Yeah.
number 2, absolutely, it's gotta be Leia Organa.
It's true.
She did a lot for the
She did.
New Republic.
She did.
And then number 3, we got to think about some of the heroes of
Yeah.
the rebellion who brought this New Republic to fruition. It's our friend Jimmy Smits.
Jimmy Smits. Okay.
And then finally, we got to have a war hero, someone who helped bring about the downfall of these.
I hope that you're thinking who I'm thinking. Because he'd want his face on a mountain.
You think so? You think
If you're thinking who I'm...
Guile?
Dang it, no.
Not Guile?
Dang it. I thought you were going to do Lando.
Because
Because you're reading...
He's a pilot.
No, but you're reading Shadow of the Sith, and he brings up all the time. That's how he gets out of stuff. He's like, I blew up the second Death Star.
Yeah.
You're welcome for that.
No, he's the one that helped bring these schmucks down.
Yeah.
Talk about a Teddy Roosevelt. That's more of like a, I don't know, Bail Organa, I guess. I think Guile Akbar. He's the Abraham Lincoln of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, what was that, Jefferson? Leia is really...
Yeah.
If you really sit and think about it.
She's Thomas Jefferson of the Star Wars universe.
Then Mon Mothma.
Yeah.
She's our George Washington. 100%.
Gotcha.
So they ripped these guys down and put those guys up.
Okay.
Who would you put?
Lando would get on that mountain.
Bro, no one's putting Lando on that mountain.
He'd get on that mountain. That's
he
my
was
thought.
just a dude.
I know he's just a dude.
Who flew he blew it up.
He did blow it up. He's responsible.
War hero. I don't know about Mount Rushmore level.
Just throwing it out there.
You just think about your Borglum. I think that was his name. Who carved the mountain. Like, would he know who Lando is?
Gold leader, baby.
Maybe.
Yeah.
How about this? Who would be different on this?
Oh no. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I actually don't know if Vader would be on it.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, do people know Vader?
Yeah.
And I was like, what about Krennic? But I don't know if people knew who Krennic was either.
Yeah, a lot of them were in secret. That's
exactly.
the problem. Yeah.
That is
some of the regional governors that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
Maybe they would go on there. There you go. It would all just be Sheev. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say,
just Sheev.
I was really thinking that. I'm like, in Return of the Jedi, in the special edition, you see them pushing over a giant statue of Sheev.
All right, let's get on to our characters.
Okay, our actual list.
You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
All right. Your North Star.
My North Star. Well, I guess we're going to start back at the beginning, and I think that this is not going to be a surprise to anybody. We're going to throw Boba Fett
Oh, you're going back. You're going reverse order.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Boba Fett would be over here. He's
the Lincoln.
Yeah, I guess. Is he the Lincoln? I'm not sure. I'm not really. He's just a helmet. Let's just. I didn't put much thought into the men.
No, I
George
didn't.
And George, I thought that was funny. But other than that, I didn't put much thought into the men that are on that mountain and the fictional characters that I'm putting on the mountain.
Would Boba Fett have signed the Emancipation Proclamation?
Probably not.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I
maybe post Tuscan integration.
Maybe. Well, I'm trying to think too with like his knowledge with the clones and everything like that, and then the Order 66. Yeah. I'm sure he had to know how that went down and everything about how that's not right. But at the same time, he's like, "I'm not your brother." He was pretty. Yeah, he was pretty with that too.
So maybe not.
Maybe not. I don't know. That's a weird question. Don't ask me that. It's like that's anyway. So this is on here because Kid Seth. I mean, I've said it here before that second grade Pogs. Remember Pogs?
Oh, I remember
Milk
Pogs.
Caps. Yes, that Tops. They had all the artwork for from Star Wars Galaxies on them. That was the set. So Star Wars Galaxy 1. That was the same artwork on Pogs. Okay. I remember seeing a Pog of Boba Fett and being like, I don't know what that is, but that's awesome. I need that Pog. And I remember trading for that Pog. And then it was like, that's my guy. And people were like, that's from Star Wars. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, that's my guy.
And that's my thing now. Yeah. Time to make it my entire personality
basically,
for the next several decades.
Exactly. Where it's just like, yeah, he's my dude. And so I don't know if he's still my dude because unfortunately things can't end. We have to keep adding things and layers onto things, and sometimes for the good, sometimes for the worse. But this is my representation to my gateway into the franchise. Okay. So I gotta put Boba Fett on there.
My first one is very similar. I've now talked about him a few times. Yeah. He's going in the same spot. Yeah. And it's Darth Vader, but for different reasons than the general. Like this is this character arc. Like when I think my list is, when I think Star Wars, what pops up in my mind? You know, who are my character North Stars? Who are characters that I not only get inspired by, maybe artistically, maybe personally, maybe morally, you know, not a lot to be inspired by morally here, except for that final moment that we talk about. It's like a cornerstone of this channel. And it's, you're going to go
as well just throw it up there because this is all I had to say about this guy. And that's why he's on there. Is because no matter
redemption,
how far you go down one way, you can always turn around. Yes. Because that resonated with me as a child.
Yes. The end of Return of the Jedi is like the Star Wars moment for me. Mm-hmm. Encapsulates everything I love about Star Wars, everything about the characters that I love, the lessons that you learn. And you learn in that one scene, two very important lessons, you know, about Luke. There are alternatives to fighting, throwing down your sword. But also you learn from Vader that, you know, it's never too late. It's never too late. You can have redemption. And gosh, what a Christian thing. We talk about that all the time too. You know, that no matter how far you can go. And can I go off on a tangent? This is not Star Wars. It's related to this, but it's not Star Wars. If you'll permit me a few moments here, because I have nowhere else to talk about this.
Sure.
I've been very moved by the death of Ozzy Osbourne this week.
Because I'm wondering if we know the same thing.
Probably.
Okay.
But this is odd for me because I've never been that big of an Ozzy fan. I don't really, and my memory of it, I guess I'll walk you through because it's a good analogy for what, how I feel about Vader. But when I was in high school, I became really into classic rock. Mm-hmm. And of course had a lot of Sabbath songs on there, Ozzy songs. And one of my favorite bops, which is a weird term to use for this, is Mr. Crowley. Okay. And it was a time after that I learned what that song was about. It's about Aleister Crowley, you know, the founder of the Satanic Church. Mm-hmm. And I was like, maybe the church ladies were right, you know, and that there is something not so good about this type of music. And so I took all the Sabbath songs and Ozzy songs off of my playlist, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to listen to these anymore. Hear them from time to time, you know, and be okay. Like, but out of my memory, essentially. Then this farewell tour happens a couple weeks ago, and of course, it's all over social media. And I was so struck by just his face while he's performing. Of course, the big viral clip is him singing "Mama, I'm Coming Home." And you can just see in his eyes, you know, this emotion. And because I like classic rock, I've seen a lot of the farewell tours. You know, I was at one of the first Kiss farewell tour. I think they've done several since then. Mm-hmm. And it's like Kiss is a business. Yeah. More so than it is a band. And I appreciate some of what they do, but at the same time, it's like they're there to make money, you know, and so are a lot of people. And I feel like a lot of artists, especially rock legends, kind of fallen into that. But like looking at Ozzy singing these songs, I'm like, man, there's something raw there. Like, I don't know. It really moved me. And then just for a couple weeks later for him to pass, and hearing interviews about how the interview that he did for that, where he's talking about how his sickness had kind of overtaken him, and how he stopped taking painkillers so he could do this one last show because music was his ultimate painkiller. His love. And hearing about his devotion to his wife. And I know that there's history there and all these things, but and I would see some of the religious commentators and sometimes political commentators that I like to watch talk about, like, oh, you know, kind of disparaging him after his death, saying like all this bad stuff that he did. And I'm like, you know what? I saw a man up there who clearly has, you know, not lived a perfect life, has made mistakes, acknowledges those mistakes. And I'm sure, as you were brought up a moment ago, I saw another video of this guy. He calls himself the celebrity evangelist. And he had given Ozzy a Bible several years ago. And it really meant a lot to him, is the cliff notes. That way I'm not stuck on this tangent for too long. But, and in many interviews lately, you know, Ozzy's talked about, you know, his faith and how he's kind of moving through it. He didn't have this miraculous, like, come to Jesus moment and you know, where he had his redemption, you know, and all these things. But like, he did clearly was going through a journey of discovering this. And it's like, I don't care about this man's past. I don't care about, I mean, I do to an extent, and in the extent that you need to, in terms of earthly consequence, sure. Yeah. But from a spiritual side and from just a human side, like I saw this man up on stage pouring his heart out over an art form that he loved for his entire life, and seeing photos of his wife sitting by cases off stage watching him, and hearing about his struggles with his faith. And I hope and pray, you know, he did have that redemption and that come to the Lord at the end of his life. But it does make me think of Darth Vader and how your life, you can leave whatever, in spite of whatever life that you led. It's not too late. And that story is amazing. And that story that you can bring. I mean, what a testimony Darth Vader would have. Yes. You know, sorry to bring you to Sunday school here, but it's like, I was sharing the same thing with one of my friends, the same sort of thought process I had. And he said, what a powerful image it is. Like it would be for Ozzy Osbourne, the self-proclaimed Prince of Darkness, to be kneeling to the throne, pouring his heart out like he did on that stage. Yeah. And I'm like, that is so powerful. Yeah. And
I was going to bring up the oxymoron of the Prince of Darkness ending his shows with saying thank you and God bless.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That was what I was thought that you were.
Well, that's another side of all of this, right?
Yeah. I think that is very interesting. But again, maybe Darth Vader would, you know, end everything kind of like that. And I guess he kind of did, is that he made a face turn, if you will, at the very end of it.
To circle it back around, again, I apologize for the tangent. It's just something, like I said, something that's really, I don't know why, it just really has struck me this week, and I've been thinking about it a lot. But to tie it back to Darth Vader, it's the same idea, and it's that same foundational concept that this guy led a horrible life.
Oh yeah,
did horrible things.
Yeah, even when he was supposedly good, he was still committing war crimes.
In his final moments, he made the right choice. Yeah, and there's this great. I love seeing this when people say, "What would happen if Darth Vader lived?" You know, but that's the point: is that he lets go. Yeah, if he was still, you know, enraptured with hate, he probably would have still lived past that. You know, he could have held on, but he doesn't. It's because he lets go and lets him be one with the Force. He accepts his fate and his destiny. That is such a beautiful lesson for everybody out there. That, like, you know, it's easy for us perfect people out here to look, you know, like everybody likes to think they're a good person. Oh yeah. You know, and to look at a character like Darth Vader.
You're never the villain of your story.
Exactly. And I always see Reddit threads about this all the time. I was like, oh, what? He never deserved to be a Force ghost. This is insane. He killed all these people. It's like, but what a powerful message to that person out there that has led a bad life. And they're like, I want to turn things around, but I don't know if I can.
At this point, why would I try? Yeah.
Hey, maybe Darth Vader did it. Yeah. And that's why we call these stories tentpole stories on the show. Because like I heard that as a kid, and as my life has gone on, I see examples of this. And I'm like, just like Darth Vader. Yeah. Just like Anakin Skywalker.
We should bring it up. We brought it up during Revenge of the Sith that Anakin tells Padme that love can't save her. Only my new powers can. But in the end, it's Padme's love that saves him. Yeah. And ultimately saves his soul.
Yeah. So
through
Vader,
Luke, mind you, through Luke.
Through Luke, of
Through
course.
Luke, yes.
Vader, of course, is not only the face of the franchise, but he's also the face of Star Wars. Like
It's true.
here,
Oh yeah,
too.
definitely.
It's the core. It's the core idea.
Yes. I mean, those original 6 movies were the fall and then rise of a hero.
Who do you got next?
Well, he never eats, he never sleeps, he only talks in boops and beeps. That's right, guys. It's my man, R2-D2. I don't know. I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head. There's just something about that little droid. I think that he just is Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I think that he's so unique. He never says a word. Doesn't need to say a word. He emotes, though. He's present for all of them. I just think that he kind of ticks all the boxes. And I mean that when we did our list, he was in my top 10, but I felt like that he deserves a spot on that mountain. I think that he's unique enough. Man, this would just be a wild mountain to look at when you're like, the different silhouettes that this thing would cast.
Yeah.
So
well, it's amazing how iconic like every character is in Star Wars, you know, or rather the iconic characters are just really iconic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's amazing about like just these character designs are so timeless.
Yeah. I just love that little droid. And I think that just something pure about it.
Yeah.
I think that, kind of that childhood whimsy, if you will.
My next one, you guys are not surprised here. It's my boy, Luke. A lot of what I just said about Vader, what I like about Luke is I really thought about whether or not he deserved to be on my list or not, because as time has gone on, like Luke really is not in the story that much, but it's really quality over quantity with him. I know everybody's gonna be like, but The Last Jedi. Nah, even in The Last Jedi, it's like he went through a little something, but he comes back. He does the most Jedi thing of all time, which is facing Kylo Ren as the projection, using the Force for knowledge and defense, never for attack.
His story echoes his father. No matter how far you go down a path, you can always turn around and do the right thing. He doesn't want to help. He doesn't want to have a laser sword and face down the First Order. Yeah. But what's he end up doing? The right thing.
But of course, the main reason for putting him on is his role in Return of the Jedi and how foundational that is for like my personality, my morality, all that. Throwing down that sword in his moment of victory and what that means. And like I've gone through several phases of my life where I'm like, what does this mean? Like when I'm a kid, like why does he do that? Is he just because he wants to save his father? And it's like, no, it's because he doesn't want to become his father. That's his destiny. And there's so many layers to that, thinking about generational trauma and thing, and like what do you want to pass down to your kids, and what's the right thing to do? When should you attack? Because you don't need to be nonviolent. That's not necessarily the lesson of Luke Skywalker, but it's when do you pick up your sword and when do you put it down? You failed, Your Highness. It's my favorite scene in all of Star Wars. Luke is always going to be that just symbol of hope and heroism for me. Yeah. I don't know if that'll be topped in Star Wars. And that's why I'm so adamant about like, I need more Luke, not because so much I'm a Luke fanboy, although I am. It's because I just want to see this character that I love, this hero that I love, get to be a hero for a little bit before he has to have his character arc in The Last Jedi. That's fine that he has to have a character arc. He's only human. It's not perfect. But I just want to see what that hope brings to the galaxy for a little bit and kind of his struggles, what he has to go through. That's why I loved Heir to the Empire, the trilogy. It's so good because it asks, you're a Jedi, now what? Yeah, what's a Jedi to do? Are you a mediator? Are you a judge? Are you a warrior? Yeah. Are you all of those things, but only when situation permits? And what are those situations? That's important for us. Like when do we use your skill set? When should you be confrontational? When should you stand back? When should you be a bystander? When should you step in and mediate and be that person that somebody needs? And at the end of the day, though, Luke is always just that hand to pull you up. Yeah. And that's a lesson that I try to take, like to be that hand that can pull someone up when they're down. Because you asked. Yeah, because you asked. That is like, if you could distill Luke down into a single sentence, that's it. Here's my second one. You want me to do my third? So in a lot of the same ways as for Luke is Yoda. When I think Star Wars and what it means, I think a lot about the Force stuff, of course. Not spoiler alert. All of my characters are Force users.
Oh, okay.
Just what that means for faith and personal development. And Yoda is so interesting because of how different he is from everybody else. He's that wizened character. Just take him in Empire. There's so much to learn from him.
Oh yeah.
And the lessons that Luke takes and embodies, you know, about how
wars don't make one great.
Wars don't make one great. Do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah.
All of the lessons he teaches Luke are so important that you can take in. Like I think about the do or do not all the time. I live by that phrase. In fact, I have a little plaque over there on the other side of the room that says that. Whenever we come through a challenge for the show, for example, I'm like, there's no try. I just will do it. And it's either going to work or it's not, you know, more often than not, we walk away, you know, doing something that
pretty
kind of
unscathed.
works.
Yeah.
The lesson of do or do not is not necessarily that you shouldn't try. It's that you should just do. And maybe
don't
you
be
succeed,
stagnant.
Maybe you fail, but just do.
Yes.
You know, that was a lesson you had to teach me a little bit to get the show going.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do it. It's not, you know, do or do not. I'm doing not because I don't want to give this a try. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what this means. And really, I still don't. We're figuring it out as we go, but we're doing. We're not trying. We are doing.
And I'll be real. There's some days where I still kind of feel like that occasionally.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, what are we doing this for, man?
Oh yeah. There are days I have the same.
Yeah. It's funny, but it's like, but he brings in the back of my head where it's like, nah, we're on this journey. We got to do this.
Yeah. Size matters not.
Yes.
Let's
people need us.
Let's get it done. So Yoda, he's a North Star for me. He also reminds me like of my my late grandmother who passed earlier this year. I don't know why. She's always given me Yoda vibes. She was kind of goofy, you know.
Oh, okay. Nuggets of knowledge.
Yeah, but the wisdom. You know, she was silly, but also a lot of wisdom that she would impart. And so I often think of my grandma when I think of Yoda.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, your last one.
All right, I'm gonna do this though.
He's more of a Thomas Jefferson.
He is. Think? Yeah.
Oh, so Boba. Okay. Yeah. Boba's more of the Bull Moose type.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't you think?
He's trust busting the Empire a little bit. He's out
setting up some parks.
Yeah, saving some national parks. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, followed Obi-Wan on some damn fool idealistic crusade.
Now, do you think Obi-Wan would sign the Emancipation Proclamation?
I think so.
Yeah. I think
so. Also, he's facing that way, so I thought that was what made it work a little bit better. Yeah. So when I think of Obi-Wan, what first comes to my mind is martyr. I mean, he died for his cause. And I think what's even more so, because lots of characters die in Star Wars for the cause, you know, the rebellion. I think what sets Obi-Wan apart is he dies, it's selfless love when he dies. And I think it's interesting, you know, growing up, I grew up in church, still go to church, but grew up Bible school, you know, Sunday school, and you hear, you know, about this selfless love. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I see it happen in a movie. And it's like, oh, okay. There is like the other people are applying this to other things. That it's not just one thing. So I think that's really, really interesting. That like, that was kind of a light bulb for me. Yeah.
It's that fable nature of the character, right? Because I also have Mr. Hello there. And I knew you'd pick a picture of old Ben. Yeah. And kind of reflects kind of our eras, if you will.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you're definitely more of a prequel kid.
Yes,
I'm a little bit more of an OT kid. And I think it's his sacrifice, but then the idea too that, you know, there are alternatives to fighting. And I think that lives on. It's really interesting that, like, you know, what's Luke ultimately do? Luke throws down his weapon and the Force finds a way, essentially, that the Palpatine's defeated through Anakin. Yeah. There are alternatives to fighting. There's that you see that with other characters. You see that with Darth Bane. You see that with Ahsoka. Mm-hmm. It's interesting how that's one of those core ideas. And I think that core idea that there are alternatives to fighting and that selfless love, I think that's what really earns old Ben Kenobi a place on that spot.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yes.
So Obi-Wan is like quintessential Jedi. I think what strikes me most about Obi-Wan and his Christ-like nature very much is that he the lesson I take from him the most is is about faith, matter of faith. He is the character with the most faith, and he lives by his faith.
It's true.
Like, I'm watching, for example, right now through Clone Wars. I'm on season 2. And I just got through the arc where he's with Duchess Satine.
Yeah.
And he is so, steadfast in his faith that, of course, he loves her. He loves her. And then when you get the death of Satine later, someone who has all of these horrible things happen to him over and over and over again. He's like Job. He's like the Star Wars is Job.
Yeah, it's true. And I was going to say that, like, even in Kenobi, that it's like he's lived through all this junk. He does waver a little. Yeah. But like, it's not like how other Jedi waver.
No,
like,
it's not like these two.
No, it's not at all.
He fails. He goes into exile. And he's like, I got one last job I got to do.
Yeah, he exiles himself.
And Luke, same thing. He goes off into exile and he's like, forget it. I'm not doing this. Yeah, but both of them come back in their own ways. But Obi-Wan, he's not in exile.
No, he's there with a purpose.
He's there with a purpose.
I will train the boy when the time comes.
And even though he loses his way, kind of like he loses his faith a little bit, really. Yeah. He comes back to it. And he's the first one to say, like, it takes a little bit of a push from Bail Organa. Yeah. But he's like, I'm going to help. I'm going to do what I can.
And I love the fact, too, that, like, here we are talking about that there are alternatives to fighting and everything. But like when stuff hits the fan, he's there. He's right there. And he proves that he is in the top 3 with Jedi. Yeah. Yeah. So he if your boy's getting thrashed at the bar, he's going to step up and he's going to help out. Yeah. Those main 2 pillars, that that selfless love, that idea of that there are alternatives to fighting. I think that's the thing that earns Obi-Wan that spot.
I'll say it. He's a better Gandalf than Ahsoka in the Star Wars universe.
Oh, I think so. I think that's she's a little try-hardy, if that makes sense. We're trying real hard to make her like Gandalf. I think he just innately is Gandalf. Yeah. And he's got some of the best catchphrases too.
He does. Yes. He's awesome.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. He's a top 3, maybe a top 1.
Yeah. Right? I mean, he's definitely my favorite Jedi of any of them. Yeah.
He probably is for me. I don't know. I go between these 2. Yeah. I always think like, Luke's not done a ton. Maybe he needs to go lower in my list. Maybe Obi-Wan needs to go up there, but I just can't get past. I mean, he's got the scene. Yeah.
Well, it's neat because like Obi-Wan, his scene, sacrificing himself, why he does that, because his selfless love passes on those teachings to Luke. Yeah. So then his teachings can live on through Luke. And what's Luke ultimately do? He doesn't even fight.
The wisdom that he passes on, the original trilogy, being a martyr, like you said. I mean, a literal Christ figure there, where he gives his life for Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. So the next generation can live on, and they, through his teachings, then they teach others.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. I think the lesson from both of our lists that the audience should take home is that you guys should watch Star Wars at church, basically.
Maybe at a youth lock-in.
Yeah, there you go. Do it. Yeah. Because that's. But we've often been told we got youth pastor energy over here. We are not beating the allegations today.
Yeah, not really.
That's it. I think it's interesting how both of our lists kind of reflect that in a lot of ways, and what that means to us, and what Star Wars means to us, and how it reflects our faith and the wisdom and all of that. And it's kind of cool. And as a good story should do that, I think. And speaking as a Christian, I would say that Christianity and the morals that it contains, and the wisdom of Jesus, is that it's universal morality. It's objective. Yeah. And so good stories by their nature will reflect that morality. And a good story, a timeless story, a timeless fable, if you will, which is, I would consider Star Wars in a lot of ways to be a fable, of course, is going to reflect that objectivity. Yeah. That's why I love Star Wars, is because I think, other than Lord of the Rings, it does it probably the best. This is like, even saying like what we're doing, like I look at these 4 and I'm like, yeah, that's Star Wars, baby, right there.
True. Well, I mean, if you look at both our lists, where it's like, it's very, very Star Wars. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's just like for me personally, because I'm wondering for those at home.
Yeah.
They might look at this and be like, where's like I saw in our Discord, where's Empo? Empo should be George Washington. Like where's, I don't know, maybe somebody's really into
Quinlan Vos.
Yeah, sure. Maybe Quinlan Vos should be on there. Maybe maybe Asajj Ventress. Maybe they got to be together.
Maybe. Yeah. Right next to each other in the center.
A Phase 1 clone. There's no Clone Wars representation.
Or Rex.
Yeah.
Ahsoka.
Yeah, there's no sequel trilogy characters out there. I'm sure there's plenty of be like, where's Rey?
Where's Kylo Ren?
Yeah, that's cool. Like everybody's gonna have their own. So please put it down in the comments down below and or in Discord. That'd be a lot of fun. And maybe we should do a part 2 of this where we do like scenes or movies. I saw that recommendation.
Oh, okay.
That'd be fun. Like what's our Mount Rushmore of Star Wars scenes? That could be really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You already know what one of mine's gonna be.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I like that's the George Washington, let's be honest.
Yeah, that is the yeah. I'm glad we solved the biggest mystery here today though. Yeah. That's that Obi-Wan Kenobi would sign the Emancipation Proclamation.
I think so.